Hello, today I want to talk about selling, or really about buying in the year 2018 and going forward. It's certainly not like the way it was 10 years ago or even 5 years ago. Today, study after study shows that your prospects and your customers usually know as much as you do about your products and your services and your benefits and about you as a company. So they know that stuff before they ever even contact you or you contact them. They know so much more about those things than people did 5 or 10 years ago. When sales was really our job was to go out and inform people. Those people are already informed. We have to now work with them to teach them and help them buy. Since the dynamics are changed, it really has to change the way we do things. And I want to talk a little bit about what happens and why change is so hard. And a lot of it has to do with beliefs. Beliefs are powerful things. They're not always facts, but the most powerful belief is that all beliefs are facts. And a lot of beliefs hold us back. I want to give you an example of that. In 1954, uh, hundreds of runners around the world were trying to break the 4-minute mile. They'd been trying for many years and failed, got close, got really close, but just kept failing. And so scientists and doctors started studying the phenomenon and found that, and did white papers on the fact that, hey, the human body can't run that fast. That's why they're not doing it. You can't, as a human, run a 4-minute mile. Your heart will give out, your legs will give out, something will break down in your body because it's just impossible for the human body to do this. Then along came a guy named Roger Bannister. He was a medical student at Oxford. He ran track, and he had two guys that ran the mile on the track team. He decided that he needed to change the way they practiced. He needed to change the process. And so he started having one of the runners pace him the first half and the other guy paced him the second half. So they practiced and trained that way. And in a couple of months later, they ran their first mile. And in fact, Roger Bannister broke the 4-minute mile. Incredibly, the guy that also was pacing him the last half of the race broke the 4-minute mile also. So it was really historic. And it really, I guess the moral of the story is that, the process equals the results, and that they trained differently, they ran the race differently, they changed the process, and in fact then changed the results and reached their goal. But what a lot of people don't know is that within 6 months, 45 other runners broke the 4-minute mile. They'd been trying for years to do it and couldn't do it because of this strong belief that it couldn't be done. Once somebody did it, then 45 other people did it. So that shows you the power of self-limiting beliefs, beliefs that we hold to be true that aren't. So let's start talking about beliefs about sales and salespeople. First, that extroverts are the best salespeople and introverts are terrible at sales. How many of you believe that? Well, it seems that ambiverts are the best salespeople, the people in the middle. They're not extroverts, they're not introverts, they're in the middle. They did a study of 300 salespeople, and they found that these ambiverts sold 24% more than the introverts, and they sold 32% more than the extroverts. The fact is that introverts outsold or very equal to what extroverts sold. So those beliefs were shattered, and the real facts are, as I showed you here, that the people in the middle are the best salespeople. Why? Because extroverts tend to pour it on too much. They please, they talk, they want to be the smartest person in the room. They're constantly glad-handing. They're not listening at all or very well, and they tell the prospect what they need. They don't really ask questions, they don't probe, they don't listen. They also found that ambiverts' advantage stems from their tendency to be assertive and enthusiastic enough to persuade and close, but at the same time, they listen carefully to their customers, they probe, and they avoid the appearance of being overly confident or really excited. They stay calm, they stay cool, they ask the questions, they listen, they respond. Lastly, chances are you are an ambivert. More people fall into this category than the other two combined. So that's the good news, that we don't have to be this glad-handing, talking, extroverted used car salesman to be a great salesperson. Along those same lines, all salespeople are good talkers, right? Well, no, we know that's not true. Successful salespeople are excellent listeners. They pay attention carefully to prospects in order to gain a clear understanding of their wants, their pains, their needs, and their fears. They're good at what they do because they have mastered the art of asking the right questions and listening to the answers to better understand their clients. They practice this until they're really good at it, and then they go out and find out what those wants, needs, pains, and fears are in their sales calls. A good salesperson can sell anything. How many times have you heard that? Sales success comes down to selling for the right company with the right product and the right prospects. Not just anybody or anything. A good person can be successful with any number of organizations or any kind of products as long as the sales process is well developed and practiced, and the product must be saleable, and the service. The prospects must be interested, and their process must be in place and practiced for people to be good, great salespeople. Along the same lines, good salespeople can sell to anyone. Sales success starts with identifying your target audience, the ideal customer/prospect. People within your service area who need your solution. Those are your ideal prospects, your ideal customers. This means making sure you know your product and the people who will benefit most from its use. And you might be the most talented salesperson, but if the product isn't right for your prospects or your solution is not of value to them, you're wasting your time. Another one is sales success is based on knowing the right techniques and tricks. Not true. Sales success is based on work habits, on mental attitudes, the eagerness to learn, to probe, to question, and to really serve people, not please them, not go in, agree with everything they have to say, ask them about their kids, take them to lunch, those kind of things. It's all about serving people, finding out what their wants, their needs, their pains, and fears are, and offering a unique solution. And it may not be the one that they think they need sometimes. That's truly serving people. Along those same lines, sales success comes from telling people what they want to hear. Those kind of salespeople are better known as used car salesmen or con artists. Successful salespeople want to serve, not please. They invest time identifying those needs, wants, pains, and fears I talked about, and then communicating to the prospect how their product will satisfy those needs uniquely. A successful salesperson will guide them in the right solution, even though it may not be the one the customer thinks they want. It's extremely important because that's truly serving someone. How many of you heard people don't like to buy things? Well, people love to buy things. How many people that get a new car or new anything and are depressed that day? Sales success isn't about convincing people to buy something they don't want to buy or don't need. It's really about being able to walk them through a process and demonstrate why buying your product or service will help them solve a problem or achieve a goal. And by the way, people are 4 times more likely to make a decision to buy something if it's going to eliminate a problem, a pain, a fear, than they are to achieve a goal or a want or a need. Let's quickly look at some other beliefs. The internet eliminates the need for great salespeople. That's not true. E-commerce companies that don't offer real people to relate and consult with customers are over 7 times more likely to fail. Having that human touch. Great engineering makes great salespeople unnecessary. Not true again. You can build the best mousetrap in the world, but studies show that 85% of all new products patented never succeed in the real world. They need the marketing and the sales to walk people through, ask the right questions, and show and demonstrate how their solution will eliminate a pain or a fear or provide a want or a need. Lastly, the best salespeople are born, not made. The best salespeople are 30% more likely to prepare for their sales calls, 30% more likely to have a well-defined approach for targeting clients on calls, and 24% more likely to have a standard process in place for reviewing opportunities. So you can see that preparation and practice are the real key to the best salespeople out there. They're not born, they learn, and then they practice and do what they learn to be successful at their craft. None of these people are natural born, and none of these behaviors are natural born. They're all either taught to these reps or they learn through trial and error. And let's not try to learn through trial and error if we can help it. A study was done by the Challenger company of 6,000 buyers around the U.S. And they found through this study that 53% of these buyers said that the sales experience they had was really the key to their loyalty to a company. That when salesmen came and offered unique, valuable perspective on the market, helped them navigate alternatives, provides ongoing advice and consultation, helps me avoid potential landmines, educates me on new issues and outcomes, suppliers easy to buy from, suppliers widespread support across my organization. Those are the reasons they talked about a positive purchase experience or a positive buying experience. The company brand was 19, the product or service was 19, the value to price ratio was only at 9%. It was really vastly more important to have a great salesperson and a great sales experience when it came down to buying and being loyal to a company. So let's review the truths we talked about. Anyone can sell. Ambiverts are the best. We cannot sell everyone because not everyone is willing to buy and value what we have to sell. So we have to understand who our ideal customer is and then go out and find prospects that are like our ideal customers today. They have the same wants, needs, pains, and fears that we can uniquely provide solutions for. The internet is not eliminating sales, it's just changing it. Studies showed that people were 57% through the buying process before they even made a sales contact. So people know a whole lot about your services and product and your benefits. They need more when they talk to you. Questioning, listening, teaching, serving are the new sales skills. The desire to serve, your work habits, eagerness to learn and practice things, to be a professional, the attitude you have are the characteristics of great salespeople. And defining the ideal prospect, then having a good playbook or process, the preparation and practices of that process, and then the understanding of the buying process is how they prepare. So let's look at the typical sales cycle. There's pre-call planning, and you're going to find that we're going to spend a lot of time on that. That's preparation. Opening a sales call. Then building value and solving problems. Objection handling. Negotiating. And then closing. This is your typical sales cycle that's been talked about for years and years. There's variations to it. This is the basic process. The only thing I would suggest here is that the vast majority of the time spent on the pre-call planning, and the closing is not at the end. It's being done throughout the process itself, as are handling objections. So we talked a little bit or a lot about ideal customers and prospects. We got to know who they are. You know, Seth Godin said, if you want to be the best in the world, you have to make your world smaller. And Greg McGowan in Essentialism said the new mantra is less but better, not more is better. Well, all these years, you know, all my career in sales management, marketing, we were always looking for more territory, more industries to sell to, more leads. It was more, more, more. That was the mantra. And what I'm saying in the future is it needs to be less but better. We need to look at, if you're trying to be everything to everybody, you'll be nothing to nobody. So we need to understand and target who are the people that are most similar in their pains, wants, needs, and fears, so that we can bring our unique solution to them. So first of all, we need a story. People call it USP, the value proposition, your elevator speech. But the point is, it's a story, and people remember stories. They like stories. They remember what the story was about. I, I hope that you remember the story I told you about Roger Bannister now, and you'll remember that for a while. So what is our unique story? And all stories have the same outline. All myths in history, all movies, all books, there's a hero. The hero has a pain or a problem. The guide comes into their life. The guide helps them build a plan, and then they take action on that plan. They do, right? Knowing's not enough. We have to do. And then they get the results. One of my favorite examples of this is Tommy Boy. Tommy's dad dies. He's got the business. The problem is that there's somebody coming in that is buying the business. So Spade comes in and says, let's go. He's the accountant, comes in as his guide and said, let's go on the road. Let's go see all our customers. Of course, they do that. That's the bulk of the movie. That's the action they take. And then, of course, at the end, Tommy Boy gets the results he was looking for. He gets the company back, and he gets the girl. So that all stories are that way. And so we want to build our elevator speech, our value proposition, our messaging in a story format. So to review this, I'm going to use a story, and it's a case study. And I think you'll learn more by doing this than me just talking theoretically. Customer or the hero, not the hero in the story, they're the guide, but it's Hotsy Industrial Pressure Washer dealers around the country. They thought they sold pressure washing equipment, and so did the market. Anytime somebody walks in with a Hotsy shirt or a Hotsy hat at a trade show, or walks into a customer or prospect's office or shop and they got their Hotsy stuff on, immediately that individual is going to be thinking, I don't need a pressure washer. This guy's in here to sell me a pressure washer, and I don't need one. I got one. It's a couple years old. Just doesn't work very good right now. Because only 3% of a market's ready to buy when you want to sell them something in the next month. A refrigerator, a car, whatever it is, any market, basically only about 3% of people are ready to buy when you're ready to sell. So we have to keep that in mind when we think about who we're going to go out and call on. So let's talk about our hero in this case. The hero, the ideal customer prospect, they're in the industry, they're manufacturers, they have fleets, or they have heavy equipment, sometimes all three. But they have facilities, and they have equipment, capital equipment in those facilities. The people that we want to talk to, the decision makers, are the operations, facility, environmental, maintenance, safety, and or fleet managers and owners. So these are the people that we want to talk to. These are the decision makers or influencers. They're the heroes. Their characteristics, they all have facilities and capital equipment that has to be running to produce revenue and profit. So if they don't have facilities and capital equipment, and who in manufacturing, fleet, transportation, or heavy construction equipment don't have those, then they're not an ideal prospect. So they have facilities and capital equipment that has to be running to produce revenue and profit. If the truck's not on the road, they're not making money. If the bulldozer's not on the site and running, they're not making money. If the equipment to produce the product is not running, they're not making money. What do they want or need? What does our hero want or need? They want facilities and capital equipment efficiently and effectively producing revenue more of the time. That's their job. That's what they're looked to do. That's their responsibility, is to keep the facilities and capital equipment running efficiently and effectively more of the time and producing revenue. The worst day they have is when they walk in and there's 3 trucks out in the parking lot with the hoods up, or the production equipment's not running, or there's a safety violation, somebody got hurt because they slipped on something on the floor. Whatever it is, downtime and efficiency. If they're inefficient, they're wasting time, energy, and water, or if something is down and not working, the boss is not going to be happy, and these guys are going to have a bad day. So that's a real quick outline of who our ideal customer prospect is. So now we got to build our story. And our story starts with "We know clean." That's our slogan. That's our tagline. We know clean. What does our hero, in this case, operations, facility, environmental maintenance, those guys, what do they want? They want facilities, as we said, and capital equipment efficiently and effectively producing revenue more of the time. So now we know what our hero wants. We know what they want. Now, what is their pain? What are their problems? What are their fears? Well, the villain is dirt, grime, grease that hide and create problems that rob you of your profits. An external problem is downtime and inefficiency. If I have equipment that's not running, I'm not making money in this plant, and I'm responsible for that. If it's not running effectively and efficiently, you're struggling to make money. So if it's down, I'm not making money. If it's not running right, I'm not making as much money as I could, or not producing as much as I could. And they believe cleaning is an expense. It's not an investment that'll pay dividends. It's actually an expense. So these are their beliefs and their pains and their fears all wrapped up in our story. That's our hero and what they're dealing with. Now here we come as a hot seat salesperson. We're the guide. You know, we have to have empathy with them. We run a business that's profitable. Profitability is dependent on great employees, equipment, tools, chemicals, and vehicles that work effectively every time we need them. So we understand that pain and those problems. But we're an authority on clean. We know clean. We know the benefits of clean, why clean can help you achieve what you want and reduce that pain and problems. But we also know how to ensure that the cleaning system in your facility, every time you go in there to use it, the whole system is going to work effectively and efficiently every time you pick it up, so you can deliver those benefits. What's the plan? To let us go back while we're here and evaluate your equipment, your system, cleaning system, your equipment, your accessories, your detergents and chemicals that you're using, so that we can come back with a comprehensive plan. We call a clean accountability plan. Make us accountable for the fact that every time you go back to use that cleaning system, it's going to be working effectively and efficiently. And the big problem is that those systems, those pressure washer systems, they deteriorate over time. So if you're not in there on a scheduled maintenance program to keep them tuned up and running right, you will not have an effective, efficient cleaning system. So make us accountable for that. We know clean. We're the authorities. An important part about that is that unique solutions are critical. There's a study which was done that showed that only 35% of companies studied truly established themselves as preferred over their competition. That they had solutions that were truly unique and that were the value they were bringing far exceeded the price that they were charging. The worst news is that less than 50% of those companies, their customers actually perceive their benefits and solutions as unique. And worse yet is that only 14% of companies' so-called unique benefits were perceived by the customers as both unique and beneficial to them. So no wonder salespeople revert to price as they struggle to differentiate and communicate truly unique valuable solutions to their customers. So this is worth spending a lot of time on. You need to make sure that your solution is not only unique in the marketplace, but also is valued by the customer or prospect that you're calling on, that they value those unique benefits. Finally, our story ends with the results that these people were looking for. That by investing in clean ensures your facilities and equipment are effectively and efficiently producing revenue more of the time. What you want, what you're responsible for. You will be addressing the efficiency and reducing downtime of your facility and capital equipment in a positive way. And that is what these people wanted. This solves their pain and the results are going to be a more effective and efficient facility and capital equipment producing revenue more of the time.